welcome to fresponse.com. Today we're going to talk about fresponse Classic, specifically Enterprise, Consultant Plus Covert, and the Consultant Edition of fresponse. All three of those applications are going to use the same interface as well as the same License Manager monitor. The License Manager monitor is what controls access to the fresponse license dongle, and it's how we license fresponse when we deploy it to a remote machine. In this instance, we've got our License Manager configured and set with a username and password. That username and password is an arbitrary value, something you designate to control access to fresponse when you push it to a remote system. All these things are covered in more depth in our fresponse user manual, but we'll be going over them briefly here to help you understand the process. So once we've got the License Manager up and running and available on the network as well as not blocked by any firewalls, we'll go ahead and let it drop down to the system tray and focus all of our attention on the fresponse management console. Again, fresponse is about getting you access to remote machines' disks, volumes, and memory in a tool and vendor-neutral manner, as well as allowing you to collect data from a myriad of different data sources. You'll see the application is cut into 4 sections: data sources, items, and activity across the top, and messages across the bottom. We'll start with data sources. Again, fresponse gives you the ability to collect data from a number of different native machines, as well as what we call agentless connections, cloud servers, and cloud files. Native connections are things like Windows, Linux, Apple, Solaris, and AIX. Agentless connections would be SMB and SFTP shares, as well as cloud servers, which are snapshots of remote cloud server instance data, as well as cloud files, which would be things like Azure, Blob Storage, Amazon, Dropbox, OneDrive, etc. We're going to start by getting fresponse on a remote subject so that we can connect to it. We're going to deploy either a GUI subject executable if we're using the Consultant Edition, a Microsoft software installer for a third-party tool to deploy, or we can deploy the software directly provided we have network connectivity to the remote machine. We'll start by putting in some credentials. I've already put in some credentials on our Windows network. These are username, domain, and password values. And alternatively, if we were looking to deploy to a non-Windows system, I could have put in a user account and assume root privileges using su or sudo, or a root account directly. Deployment to non-Windows systems is SSH and SFTP. Deployment to Windows systems is File and Network Printer Sharing Services, or SMB. I'll go ahead and put in the remote machine's host name here and click Install and Start fresponse. That's going to do exactly like it sounds. It's going to push the fresponse software to the remote machine, authenticating over SMB using the provided credentials, registering it as a service, and starting the service. Once the service is started, it'll communicate with that License Manager, which will thereby put it in our display, and here you can see it now. We have one remote Windows machine, and you'll see it under Items. I can right-click on this Windows machine and attach a subject target or image a subject target. Let's start with the simple attach. That's the core capability of fresponse. This gives us the ability to select a target. In this case, we'll pick disk 0 and attach it to our machine as a physical read-only device. So here you can see under Activity the newly defined device, disk 0, which is assigned physical drive 1. In the bottom right-hand corner, Windows will run out and assign volume letters to any NTFS or FAT partitions it detects. At this moment, physical drive 1 is disk 0 of the remote machine, thereby any forensic tool you want to use to analyze or collect data from physical drive 1 you have available. In fact, a large number of organizations leverage that by using different forensic tools to provide whatever it is the specific case requires. You can do imaging with fresponse or with your own imaging tool. Imaging is as simple as right-clicking on the target itself, giving the image a name and a destination path. Fresponse images are created in E01, or what's called expert witness format. In the event that you'd like the image in a different format, we recommend you attach the drive and use your own imaging tool to make that collection. Again, fresponse allows you to attach a full physical device, so you should be able to image it with any forensic tool. We'll go ahead and kick off that image. You'll see it appear momentarily under Activity, and will update with detailed performance information as it runs. Simply put, the fresponse worker process is talking to the remote machine, pulling down data, formatting it as an E01 image, and saving it to our local machine. Let's scroll down and look at our other available data sources. We talked briefly about agentless connections. These are exactly like they sound: SMB and SFTP shares, cloud servers, and cloud files. With agentless connections, let's go ahead and focus in on SFTP. Apple's new system integrity protection makes it very difficult to do full disk images, but we can collect individual logical file content using SFTP and SSH. We've got a remote machine configured. We're going to go ahead and select the home directory and collect that entire contents to our local machine. Essentially what's going to happen is we'll create a working process. That worker process will start communicating with the remote machine over SSH and enumerate file and folder items. As it finds those items, it will save them down to our local machine and reset their dates and times commensurate with the dates and times that are on the remote SFTP service. It will also generate a CSV of the file content. While we've got that agentless collection going on, let's scroll down here and take a look briefly at cloud servers. Cloud servers are just like it sounds. These are servers that are configured and hosted on either Amazon's Elastic Compute Cloud, EC2, or Azure Compute. On the Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, we can double-click on a created credential and get a listing of volumes and the instances that they are assigned to. Selecting an individual volume and providing a collection path allows us to create a snapshot of the remote machine's volume, save it to our local machine as an image file, and then remove the snapshot from the Amazon service. This means we can create full device images of machines that are both operational and running, as well as disabled or powered down. Azure Compute works the same way, except the image files that are created are VHD or virtual hard disk format. Lastly, cloud files. FResponse does give you the ability to collect data from a number of different cloud storage environments: Amazon Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, etc. I've got an Amazon account. I'm going to double click on that account and select an individual bucket. Like before, I could pick a specific folder underneath it, but in this case we're going to collect the entire bucket's contents to the same directory where we've saved all of our other image data, the collection folder rather. Again, the destination is entirely up to you. But once you run the operation, what FResponse will do is create a worker process. That worker process will communicate, in this case with Amazon. It'll begin to enumerate and organize the content available there, downloading individual files and saving them to your local machine. It will reset the dates and times on those files commensurate with the dates and times that Amazon offers. In the case of Amazon, that's only the last modified time, so the accessed and created times will be zeroed out. You can see we have a whole number of different options available with FResponse Classic Edition. You have not only the ability to access native machines, but you have agentless content as well as cloud servers and cloud files. It gives you the ability to collect data, to organize it, and to present it for processing in pretty much any forensic or e-discovery tool. File collections are, of course, native file content, whereas image operations are image format. If you use our imager, would be E01 style format, or you're welcome to use your own imager or your own analysis tools. All the operations take place in the activity panel. Once they're complete, it's a simple right-click to cancel and remove each collection, and the data remains on the destination folder where you placed it. Detaching a drive once you've connected it and completed whatever your operations require is a simple right-click and detach drive. Removing FResponse from the remote machine, whether it was a graphical executable in MSI or through our installer, is a simple right-click, stop, and remove. That's going to return the remote machine to the way it was before we started. Down below, you'll have messages that indicate what tasks were taken during the operation, and you're welcome to save those off through the messages menu item above. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us. We're available at www.f-response.com and via email at sales@f-response.com. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.